Once again, we'd like to welcome you back to the B.League All-Star Weekend 2025 as we have the match between White and Black. The first quarter just ended and it's been an exciting affair as White takes that first period 31-26. Anthony Starr here together with Josh Bett. And Josh, once again, the fans are being thrilled to no end.
Oh, absolutely. We're live here at the Funabashi Arena. Well, excuse me, we're here at Lala Tokyo Bay Arena. I apologize. We are in the Funabashi Prefecture. It's already been a great All-Star weekend, Anthony. We saw the skills competition, the three-point competition, and the dunk contest yesterday, followed up by the Rising Stars against the Rising Asian All-Stars. And today, we have the very best here in the B-League. I'm looking forward to some high-packed flying action.
So far, the fans have been treated to a great first period. We're looking forward to a second period. Well, here are some of the highlights. Well, this is definitely going to be the final All-Star game for Jeff Gibbs. He is retiring after this season. He wants to make it count, Josh.
Oh, he's had a terrific career. I mean, I think when we started with the B-League, he was playing Utsunami at Brex. Of course, this season playing with Koshigai Alpha's playing for his former Brex coach. I mean, age is just a number. I think, what is he, plus 40 years young? I mean, it's incredible what this man has done with his career.
And he's still a powerhouse inside, still very difficult to stop. But right now, we pick up the action here in the second period. Still a 5-point lead for Team Black.
Well, the question we kept asking yesterday, Anthony, are we going to see the defense? But I think a bigger question we should probably be asking is, how many three-pointers are we going to see today? Definitely both teams are going to go right back and forth at each other.
Are they going to beat the record of what we saw yesterday between the Rising Stars and the Asia All-Stars? In terms of attempts, I'm talking about.
Well, the way that game went, I would not be surprised. And, it's good to see the players having a lot of fun here, but already just going right back and forth at each other. I think we may see that record, Anthony.
That is right. Shinoyama there, as you can see, filming the crowd there, going live on his feed. And a lot of the fans also taking shots of him.
Well, he did very well yesterday, winning the skills contest, the G-Shock skills contest. Remember, he did lose last season against Kawamura, and I actually got a retweet from him on Twitter, so it was a very big occasion for him. So big congratulations to the Shinoyama family.
They're going to look inside. Saiz is going to kick it back out. Open three, a little bit too strong. Still a 6-point lead so far here by White, and they've got possession. Quick launch and another big basket there from Yuta Arasuda.
Well, he's terrific, Anthony. If you remember him when he played in the FIBA Asia Cup, I think he had, 9 or 8 three-pointers against, I believe it was Syria. I mean, he is a sharpshooter.
And he's one of my favorite players because he really plays both ends. He plays really tough defense as well. Logo shot from Kishimoto, no.
Well, probably just trying to make amends for losing, being unable to defend his three-point championship contest yesterday, but no doubt we're going to see a lot more from him.
I think so. We're going to have an interview now. Watching some of the highlights of what transpired earlier today.
One thing, Anthony, what we've seen in the last 2-3 years of the All-Star game of the B.League is that the entertainment value is worth it. We'll just hear this interview very quickly.
Go ahead, Josh. Continue what you're saying.
Apologies there, Anthony. But going back to what I was saying, the entertainment value of the B.League All-Star game. We did see it last year in Okinawa. Fans come here. You don't need to be a basketball fan to love this occasion. The B.League has done a magnificent job of just showcasing. We mentioned it, of course, being a family, fun environment, but there's not a single empty seat in the building here at the Lala Bay Tokyo Arena. It is an incredible atmosphere, and that's a huge credit to how far this professional league has come in the last 7 years.
Oh, they definitely have. They have not just piqued the interest here of Japanese basketball fans, but as you said, it's the entire family that they're bringing here, and that's why they've come in droves. Jack Cooley will take his hand at the three. One of the few times you're going to see him do that.
I think the most three-pointers I ever saw him make in one game, I believe it was last season, 2 in one game, so not his usual bread and butter, but he can make them when he has to.
Kawamata can make this one, but the shot goes straight to Cooley. That's what Jack Cooley does best.
Well, he's a big man of rebound. There's not a single person in the B-League I think that can box him out, but, well, here we go again with Kishimoto.
He had the basket, but of course he wants to entertain the fans, and he sends one there to Jack Cooley for the assist. Saiz will score inside, unmolested. We're going to say that a lot of times here tonight.
Oh, yeah, the defense is going to be definitely absent. I just wonder, we talk about three-point percentages and how many is going to be taken, but I just wonder what scoreline we're going to finish with.
If they continue to hit threes like that, we're going to have a very high scoreline. There's another steal. Open three. Jae-Min Yang not able to knock that one down.
Well, he's come quite a long way in his B-League career. You think his first season had to really, as you mentioned this with many players, Anthony, an adjustment to the style of the B-League as he was probably used to in his youth development career. But, he really has matured into a solid starting player. No longer that rotational player that's, a rising star. I think he's really progressed well in his B-League days.
Well, nice to see him in action and nice to see him showcase his talent here. Gonna look inside. They want this matchup. Kawamata up against Watanabe. And he's gonna come up short, but he'll put it through on the second effort.
Yeah, you gotta love what Kawamata gives to Nagasaki Velka. I mean, he's a workhorse. Had to really work for his position this season. He could be a B.League contender for the playoffs if they have a good run in the second stage.
Off and running, Team Black. They're trailing by 15. Hayes will try to score and does. And because of that point, that's going to bring us here to our official timeout. The first dead ball situation after the 5-minute mark. We'll be back for more action as White still leads this one by 13. Coming back here for Team White is their captain, Yuki Togashi. Captain on the other end, Josh Hawkinson, also back on the floor. Watanabe there in his first All-Star here. First of many, for sure.
Oh, he's going to have a long B-League career. I mean, look, he is a debutant this season at the age of 30, but, you know, a good chance for him to enjoy this game after the nervy start he had in the three-point contest.
Long three, not going to drop there for Shutahara. Those are the threes they need to be able to make, Josh, if they want to be able to come back in this ball game.
Well, we saw that with the Rising Stars game yesterday, Anthony, didn't we?
That is correct. The team that shot better, and at the same time, if you want to go for a higher percentage shot, but of course, don't tell the captain Togashi that. He tried his hand at that, a little bit too strong that time.
We'll definitely see some similarities in shot takes in this game with Togashi as we've seen him play in the regular season for the Chiba Jets.
Basket and one opportunity there, Togashi. Was saying I fouled him much earlier.
Well, Dwayne Evans, you know, he is the embodiment of how a true import just comes and embraces life here in the East of Asia, especially Japan. You know, when I started my early commentary career, he was playing for John Patrick in Germany and made it to a Final Four of the FIBA Basketball Champions League. I believe he did start with the Ruku Golden Kings, but I had the chance to meet him in Dubai this summer. This man absolutely loves everything about life in Japan, and I wouldn't be surprised when he retires. Does he stay and become a coach? Does he become a citizen? I mean, he is a true ambassador for international basketball.
Oh, quite definitely. A lot of these players love this country, and I think they're going to make this their home. Say Ando there scoring quickly. We're going to have a jump ball. One of the few jump balls we're going to see here, and let's see where the possession arrow points to.
I think we asked about where's the defense. I think that might be the first double team that we've seen here in the All-Star game.
And that's why I think they were surprised talking about Team Black, but they're going to retain possession. Possession arrow points their way. Evans for three, yes. Watanabe step back three in the face of Koya. Says, take that. Now we're going to have an interview of Yuday Baba. Yuday Baba was a starter earlier today. Played 8 minutes. Now he's on the bench, cooling his heels, getting ready for action in the second period. Actually, in the second half. Here in the second period, he has not yet seen action.
Well, we talk about the return of Yuta Watanabe this season, but you have to remember it was Yuday Baba who did return last year after, many years of going back and forth between the G League and the NBL. But I think the good thing about having so many of the elite Japanese players, Anthony, here in the B-League is making them available for every single FIBA Asia Cup and Basel World Cup window.
That's very true. Some of the other leagues don't really take a break during the international window. But the B-League does. And they are always available for their national squad. Togashi. Ooh, trying to back down. Not gonna work there against Chuji. Naoto says, this is what you should do. Take a 3. Hawkinson with the rebound. Sends it back out. Endo for 3. Long rebound. That's a deep one. Dwayne Evans.
Third time lucky, Anthony. I think they were going to care about the box out, but interesting about Yusuke Endo, as we've seen him play for Utsunomiya Brex, he really likes to go for a low squat every time he goes for a 3-point. So very unorthodox 3-point shooting technique.
But it's proven to be effective for him so far here. An 11-point lead. And White increases that again. Back up to 14. Here's Endo in his shot. He'll come up short. From the same spot, Evans hit a 3. Not that time. Jeff with the rebound, the outlet pass, and streaking down court is Ryusei.
That's the one thing Jeff Gibbs doesn't get enough credit for in his long career of international basketball, the vision of how to make those cross-court passes.
Boy, Endo just can't hit a 3. They've been setting him up. Perfect pass, almost. Chineyama not able to field that one. That's going to lead to an easy field goal on the other end. Under a minute to be played here.
I definitely like how DJ Newbill has taken his career here in B-League, in the B-League by storm. You have to remember, he wasn't playing the most elite level respectfully when he was in Europe. He was playing at a good level, but he's proven to be, the MVP contender yet again this season.
Chineyama really playing to the crowd here, and he stuck it out. He ran that baseline 4 times. Let's see if they look for him again. He says, no, don't look for me anymore. I'm dead tired. Gibbs is going to miss everything there in that 3.
I'm not surprised Shinoyama's tired right now, Anthony. You have to remember, he was the only player in the skills challenge that went at 100 miles per hour.
He won that one by a fraction of a second. That's going to bring us here to our halftime break. It is 62 for Team Black. For Team White, as Team Black has 48. We'll be back for a lot more action in just a bit.
リーグオールスターゲーム。さあ前半戦終わってスコアは62対48、B ホワイトがリードをしています。勝負の行方とともに気になっているのが MVP を一体誰が取るのかというレース。この MVP を決めるには様々な要素が絡み合っておりますが、参考のために前半戦のスタッツリーダー、スコアリーダーだけご紹介してまいりましょう。まずは B.BLACK、ここまで12ポイント、川端光也選手、そして続くのが9ポイント、トゥベイ・エヴァンス選手、対する B.White は渡辺裕太選手が12ポイント、そしてジャック・クーリー選手が10ポイントとなっております。ちなみに B.White のキャプテン、富樫俊一選手、どんな手を使っても MVP を取るという公約を出しておりましたが、前半戦は6ポイントと、後半戦一体どんな手を使っているのか注目してまいりましょう。さあ B リーグオールスターゲーム2025、この後いよいよ後半戦に突入してまいります。さあ第3クォーターに向けて今一度ここのアリーナ東京で盛り上がったと思います。B.Black versus B.White。バスケットボール夢の祭典オールスターゲーム。もうすでに折り返してカードを下ろしてでもスーパープレー。
The highlights are done. The interviews are over. Time for basketball once again here as we welcome you back to the Lala Arena, Tokyo Bay in Funabashi. This is the black against the white. The B.League All-Star Weekend for 2025. Anthony Sutai here together with Josh Bett.
It has been a very good game between these two teams so far, back and forth, going for a lot of volume three-point shooting. But as we said yesterday, Anthony, in the Rising All-Stars game, if Black wants to get back into this, they've just got to keep on the volume three-point shooting, because points in the paint are going to come to no avail.
That is for sure. Well, there's some points in the paint there.
That might be a consolation, I believe.
It's either that or they heard you. Deep three, Watanabe is not going to drop. Baba with the rebound, he pushes it to his team captain. Another inside point.
I think they may have taken that one personally, what I just said, Anthony.
I think so. That's back-to-back there for Sebastian Saiz, and they're down by just 10. Shinoyama will misfire. Evans to the corner. The captain for three, short.
Well, White not playing any games, that's for sure. Shinoyama now in the corner.
Can't get that one to drop. Ooh, some shades of defense there by Jeff Gibbs, and then he backed off. Shinoyama's gonna bring it around. Togashi behind the back pass. Big slam there for Yuta.
I think a lot of questions people are asking right now is, why is the All-Star game so relaxed? And what people need to realize is the B-League is such a big business that it's more a case of clubs being represented, because you have to remember we have 10,000 people live here in the arena, plus probably millions watching within Japan. So it's a big representation of all the clubs showcasing the talent that they have on their team.
Oh, that's for sure. A lot of people are saying they want it to be a little bit more competitive, but as they say, give these guys a break.
And that's another thing as well. When you talk about that break, Anthony, I mean, these guys have a very, very long season. They play double headers on the weekend. Some of them also play in the EASL. And also remember, B-League champion has to play in the FIBA Basketball Champions League Asia.
That's right. Another tournament added to the overall calendar. The speedster, they're not going to catch him, but he's not going to make the layup. Baba with the miss there. Sebastian Saiz really getting up there. He's got 6 points in the third quarter alone.
I think that's the one area of development I would probably ask. Maybe teams need to give away so less second chance points, because that could have a big impact of how this game goes.
Gibbs for three. Not that time. He has had a real storied career. Wow. Up and under move there for Uday.
Well, he has the nickname Baba Boom, but again, the dime coming from Dwayne Evans, the solid best point forward you're going to find in the B-League.
Togashi says, don't forget about me.
Well, people need to remember, this is his home court. He plays for the Chiba Jets, so he knows all the sweet spots on the floor.
Koya shows he's got range as well. This guy is a real fan favorite. Has not seen too much action for his local squad though.
Well, Koya's also done the same celebration he did last season in Okinawa when he hit that first three-pointer. You know, he is a big ball of fun. You know, he's got a great personality, and that's what you know you're going to get with him. Plus having great hairstyle too.
That hairstyle really brings the crowd to its feet. Ooh, I thought he was going to launch another three. Evans saying he got fouled in the process, but says, okay, you don't want to blow the whistle? I'll give you a smile. That's just for today, though.
Our two former teammates there. We saw that yesterday with teammates, kind of the bear hugs. And you have to remember, both Seba Saiz and Togashi won a B-League championship together at the Chiba Jets. But right here, just like he did in Okinawa, the very same celebration dance.
That's what the fans have come here to see. A showcase. Different five now on the floor for the white team, and that's gonna drop.
Well, here to Takayoshi, again, another player who's earned the right to be. He had to really work his way throughout his club team last season. He's, you know, his progression very exemplary of many of the domestic players here in the B-League.
Trying to play some defense there, and he got run over by Saiz. So he says, wait, now that's why, now I realize why we're not supposed to play defense here. Because he gets thrown to the floor similar to that. Ooh.
I think in any given game, that's going to be a technical foul, but again, we can enjoy the banter here in the B-League All-Star game. I tell you what, Anthony, I love the story of Matt Bonds in the B-League, starting with Nagasaki Velka from the very bottom of B3. And of course, making it all the way to the B-League and now earning the right to be one of the top players here in the league now with Osaka Vesa.
A lot of great stories around here. And there's Matt Bonds, and she said, catching the
Well, the
home
B-League
run
was only created
throw.
in 2016-17, and they are, to my knowledge, the only team that have done three promotions right from B3 to B1.
That's really excellent for their squad. Now more interviews.
Well, Anthony, we just heard from Naoki Tashiro, and he was a story that I was interested coming into the season because one of the rivalries I really like in the B-League is between the Ruku Golden Kings, as you see them right there, and the Chiba Jets. Those two teams, although there's a lot of respect between B-League clubs here in the B-League, there's not a lot of love lost between them. So when he left Golden Kings after losing the championship, I was always curious to know how the Okinawa fan base felt about his move to the enemy.
That's an interesting sidelight, that's for sure. Have you been able to get the pulse?
Well, I think it's 50-50. I think, as respectful as the fans are, I think they were very sad to see him go, but also to one of their bitter rivals.
That's true.
Oh.
That is
faked me
literally
out.
blowing the cripple. Bonds can't get that slam to drop.
Cooley didn't need to do too much there. I think he just needed to stand like an Illinois tree.
That is a deep three, almost kissing it off the glass from Matt Bonds.
I'm not surprised to see him take that kind of shot because as we have seen him do for Osaka and for Nagasaki last season, he has very deep range.
Another rebound there by Cooley, and they're going to try to push. Kishimoto finds an open teammate. That's going to be too easy.
Interesting today, the three-point percentages haven't been as good as we saw yesterday in the youngsters, but now we're going to hear from Shuta Hara, another interview coming up.
Coming off the interview. More action here. Suda for three, yes.
He's definitely one of our favorite players, Anthony, but the thing I love about Yutaro Suda as we see him play this season for the Mikawa Seahorses is that he is just so excellent at losing his defender. He's got such a quick release that makes him tough to defend.
Back to back. Not that time. Another rebound there by Jack Cooley. Now Seiya Ando. One of the best shooters in the B-League, just can't convert there. Just about
You go back to the
35
opening
seconds
game
remaining.
day of the B-League this season when the Brex played the Jets. It was actually that man who made the three-pointer, DJ Newbill, to take the first game into OT. They ended up losing, but that's almost the exact carbon copy of the shot he took to take that into OT. So interesting now he misses it here in the All-Star game with his extensively less pressure defensively.
Which is quite surprising, but again, let's take a look at these are the list of the MVPs. Yeah, Seiya says, let me get one from inside the paint.
A lot of prize money for the MVP in this game, so no doubt you're going to see a lot of volume three-point shooting as we have seen so far in these 2 days. But remember, whoever wins the MVP, there's a big prize they'll be taking home.
I wonder, does he share that with his teammates?
Very, very good question. I'll have to ask one of them, whoever wins it.
Let me know when you get the answer as we put a close to 3 quarters here in our All-Star game. Don't go away because coming up is the 4th and final period. as we enter quarter number 4. Only an 8-point lead here for Team White, so the outcome still hanging in the balance for either squad. Who will take it, black or white? We'll find out in a bit.
Well, we had a very exciting All-Star game between the Rising Stars and the East Asia Stars, but today, as mentioned, the 3-point haven't dropped as consistently. But in these final 10 minutes, Anthony, I imagine every player on the floor is really going to go for it, as we just saw Daiki Tanaka do so.
Quick score there for the white team, and they're off to the races once again. Ando gets the layup.
It's a very interesting play. You don't really see that in these kind of All-Star games. A turnover that was unforced by Makoto Hiyajima, but now trying to respond with a 3, and maybe, just maybe, they're about to turn it up here in the 4th.
Here it comes. Chuji gets his Yuma Fujii with his first basket. And now more interviews. Jamin Yang able to save that one, gets it to Jeff Gibbs.
Well, they can really close this game out in the next few minutes, but they're going to have to try to build something big. But you notice that the black team just slightly a little bit more aggressive on the defense. I just have to wonder why, though.
97-90 is our tally. Under 8 minutes to be played here in the 2025 edition of the All-Star Game.
Going back to yesterday's game with the young All-Stars game, I think both teams are already at the 100 mark at the end of the third quarter, so that is evident of just how the rhythm has gone between these two teams in this matchup.
Doesn't look like they've taken as many three-point shots as we saw the youngsters yesterday.
Oh, for sure. I think they've definitely been a little bit more casual, but, you know, that's all part of the All-Star Weekend fun. Come here, relax, take your mind off the pressures and anxiety of the B.League regular season.
It's really refreshing from a player's perspective as well, because even in practices, it's intense. The pass in between players there from Jeff. And now we have Seiya Ando. Long-time member of the national squad, Seiya Ando. Having so much fun here today as we see Shinoyama getting his 4th point.
There's definitely in high spirit, Anthony, as we saw him win the G-Shock Skills Challenge yesterday, which did mean a lot to him, of course. But now we're going to have another coach's challenge like we did have yesterday from Shoko Asayama. So be interesting if his new core players surround the monitor.
Oh, none of them are. So it's just the officials. I thought Shogo would want to get in there as well. Here's what transpired. Almost a triple team. That was right in front of Coach Gleason. He just issued a smile.
Well, Coach Gleason now in his debut season with the Chiba Jets, a team that did start the season on fire, but, you know, after succumbing to so many poor injuries, now they're going through a bit of a storm. But what's interesting, San Antonio Phoenix, now with their third season of Atsushi Ono, they to me look like B-League championship favorites this season, but as they were last year, the best team in their division, getting knocked out in the first round, it's going to be a very exciting end to the second half of the season as we return from this All-Star break.
Well, when you look at history, really, Josh, a lot of times, you know, teams that want to be able to make it to the championship, you got to go through some growing pains, and a lot of times you've seen that even in the NBA. Top teams lose in the first round because they just don't have the experience yet. But right now, with that season under their belts, expect even more from the San Antonio Phoenix here this postseason. There's that shot from Endo.
I tell you what, I don't know what was more impressive. The fact he got the three-point off of the lob alley-oop pass that was then connected by Sebasize, but that was quite a spectacular play.
Oh, some defense there. 8-second violation.
Well, the veterans just take this game slightly more serious than we saw from the young players yesterday, so now it's having a little bit of flavor to it.
Bonds converts. He now has 4 points. It's now 104-97. Approaching the halfway mark. Another three for Endo. No. Sebastian's there. Sends it back out once again. Short that time. Saiz is
Just
saying,
hasn't
why?
been able to find that rhythm, has he?
Yeah, no, he hasn't. Sebastian wanted his rebound. He got his rebound. Then he also wanted to be able to make sure he got an assist. Endo could have knocked it down. That's going to be a timeout here. 4:52 remaining in this one. It's 104 for White, 97 for Black. A jam-packed Lala Arena Tokyo Bay here in Funabashi, and why not? These are the best that the B-League have to offer, and then some.
Yeah, of course, it does look very similar to how they have the structure in Okinawa with their arena, but if this place wants to be a home venue throughout the B.League playoffs, they've got to continue to make sure they have the highest seed. There'll be a lot of teams competing for the championship this year. I mean, Golden Kings got off to a slow start in their opener against, well, not in their opener, but in the likes of how they've been able to go from being mid-table in the West and now top, it shows you that this is going to be a very unpredictable B.League postseason.
Oh, that's for sure. It's going to be an exciting next 30 games. Just too many fakes that time from Fuji. Starters are in. Easy layup there for Yoshii.
We've extended it now to a 9-point ball game, and the way this game goes by its momentum, that's really just a 3-possession game if you think about it. But you know, as I said, if Black wants to win, they've got to start getting more from the perimeter.
Ooh, nice block there from Watanabe. And converted there from the outside by Togashi.
Well, he's been on fire today, Anthony. All points coming from the three-point line. Wouldn't be surprised if he takes home that MVP award.
Kawamata. That's more than 3 seconds. He gets blocked by Cooley. Shades of defense here, Josh.
Okay, I was going to be super aggressive. He got the shot off, but we know Jack Cooley too well. He's almost a solid insurance policy.
Watanabe not able to convert there. Baba to the wing. Kawamata will send it back out. Three-pointer, why not? 2G for three.
Well, that just gives them a little bit of belief and a little bit of hope, but even down by 9 with 3:16, he's still loving the occasion here at the Lala Tokyo Bay Arena. I just took that one coast to coast, Anthony, but, you know, interesting. We saw a little bit of full court pressure there from Team Black, and time isn't exactly on their side, down by 11 now. A little bit of casual play there between Yoshi and the defense, but he's able to go for the give and go. Naoki Suji, was a part of the three-point contest. Yes, they, of course, didn't have a great start to that competition, which now was won by Makoto Hiejima.
Ooh, big slam there for Cooley. Another three, why not? Yes, he's on fire. Naoto is.
Well, exactly the reason why they had to put him in the three-point contest. He just gets that one to rattle in, and I just wonder, something about these Lala Tokyo Bay Arena rims. They're very tough to score, but usually for that man, Yuki Tsugashi.
And they offer Togashi a seat, and they say, we want to play 5-on-4.
Oh, that's
and they
bullying.
are playing 5-on-4. We're not able to squeeze that in. It's still 4 on 5. And Cooley says, doesn't matter.
Well, Togashi just crept his way back on the floor. 16 points to Jack Cooley. Another import fan favorite. Of course, making Okinawa his second home. Oh, that's not fair. That's not fair. Oh, they let him back. That's okay.
I thought he was going to get the quick outlet pass. Well, he's been lifted here. Get another timeout. We'll be back. Final 2 minutes of this one. One of the few kickballs you've had. And that kickball hit one of the photographers there by the baseline.
Those who are unaware of Takumi Saito, I'd have to say he's probably the #1 point guard at the moment here in the B-League. An outstanding season he's having so far, but I'm just trying to find Makoto Hiyajima in the corner. Now they get the ball to him for 3.
Hiyajima finally on the board. That's quite surprising.
Well, I think he's just happy to know he took home the 3-point contest championship, and, you know, very well deserved. The former B-League MVP as well.
So I guess his weekend's done, huh? He's happy with the weekend.
For sure, he was lighting cigars when he went back to the hotel last night. I'm pretty sure about that. Well, still a ball game.
Cooley saving it. Watanabe recovers. That's a great behind the back pass and a big slam there.
Well, I don't want to hear any more arguments, Anthony, that the players aren't taking this game seriously. Jack Cooley going in with the save and the acrobatic finish, but right there you saw Team White just wanted that a little bit more from Yuta Watanabe.
That was clear. And that desire has given them this 8-point lead. Trying to cut it down to 5. No. Jeff with the
That
rebound.
might just do it.
I think so. Especially if Gibbs takes this one. He's going to use some clock. Yoshi will go to the captain. The captain for the dagger. Turns around and misses. And again, he's hugged there by the entire Black squad.
Yeah, they don't want him to take home that MVP award. They know this is his home. They know he's going to compete for a B-League championship, but they're not going to give him any extra accolades. They're hugging him again.
Again, it's 5 on 4. Looking for the final basket. That could be it.
Consolation for the fans from Takumi Saito.
Jeff Gibbs. Ooh,
Oh, he's got the bunnies, Anthony. He still has them.
Oh, he does have hops, just not that time. And the White squad wins this one, 119 to 114 over B.League Black.
Again, a huge congratulations to the B-League for showcasing yet another outstanding All-Star weekend. Started yesterday when we covered the G-Shock Skills Challenge, the three-point contest, and then the dunk contest as well, followed up by the All-Star of the Rising Asian All-Stars and the B-League All-Stars. But, a great occasion. But one thing I'm looking forward to, as much as we've enjoyed the relaxation of this weekend, it's all going to be business when we get back to the B-League from this.
Oh, that's for certain. They're refreshed, they've regrouped, and now they're going to make one final push. All these teams will.
I think that's the beauty of this league as well. I mean, you look at many other domestic leagues, whether you're talking about Asia, Europe, the Americas, Africa, wherever, even the NBA, there always seems to be a favorite right from the get-go. I think a lot of people looked at the Chiba Jets and thought the addition of Yuta Watanabe plus Coach Gleason coming in, that they were going to, walk all over the league. That hasn't been the case, and I just feel that, as I said earlier, it's going to be a very unpredictable finish in the postseason.
As they say, take your pick who will make it to the B-League playoffs, and at the same time, who will eventually win the championship. Coach Gleason very happy. Let's find out who the MVP is going to be and who will be interviewed. Shinoyama there saying, I did my share.
Well, if he only just joined us in the second half, he won the G-Shock Skills Challenge yesterday, a competition that he narrowly lost to Yuki Kawamura, who's now currently in the NBA. So, like Makoto Hajime, the three-point champion you see there on the left, I think both of those players relatively happy with the extra bonus that they won yesterday.
Here's the announcement. Jeff Gibbs definitely soaking this all in, Josh.
A very, very tough moment for him as well, because he's been an outstanding professional, wherever he's played throughout the world. And, he's really thrived the time he's played here in Japan. You have to remember, this man is 44 years young. Started his pro career in 2004 when I was in 9th grade of high school in Germany. And he came to Japan in 2010 and played for Alvak Tokyo. That was before the B-League existed. So, of course, that time with the Utsunomiya Braxton, Nagasaki, one season with Sunrocker Shibuya last year, it's fair to say that he is a Japanese citizen.
Oh, quite definitely. He has made Japan his home. He has been here for quite some time. And he will retire from the B-League after this season.
それではこれより表彰式を行います。リソナグループ B リーグオールスターゲームにおきまして最も印象的なパフォーマンスを見せてくれた選手に贈られる MIP 賞の発表です。それでは発表いたします。MIP 賞に輝いたのは B.Black No.99 川又光也選手です。おめでとうございます。マイキーコート中央へお進みください。
So they're calling out Koya Kawamata.
川又選手には株式会社リソナホールディングス代表執行役社長兼グループ CEO 南松弘様より賞金として50万円が贈られます。
He's taking home the Most Improved Player Award, which I think is a fair, but 500,000 yen, that's not a bad check to take home from the weekend.
So if the MIP takes home 500, the MVP might take a whole lot more.
Well, I'm going to go back to your question. That should be shared with the teammates.
Look at him. Yes. That's a lot of sushi for me.
Oh, too right. A lot of sashimi for sure for me as well.
Posing there for Sebastian Saiz, who is now a photographer for the time being.
Well, finding out who's going to win this Most Valuable Player Award, this is where the competitive nature is going to come in with a lot of players tonight, because I just wonder, it's got to go to somebody from the winning team. Is it going to go to, I wouldn't necessarily call him a hometown player because he's originally from Niigata, but he's been with the Chiba Jets for the for the greater part of his career. And I'm talking about Yuki Togashi, the first ever $1 million contract player here in Japan.
Let's see if the panel agree with you.
今から発表するリーグ選出の MVP 候補の中からビジョンに記載のある指定ハッシュタグをつけて X に投稿することで投票ができます。それでは候補選手を発表します。ビジョンにご注目ください。さあ改めて発表します。渡辺裕太選手、富樫勇樹選手、須田、裕太郎選手、吉井宏隆選手ということでですね、以上の4選手が MVP 候補となっております。投票方法、ビジョンに記載のある指定ハッシュタグをつけて X にて投稿、そして、ハッシュタグの後にいずれかの選手名をつけた上でハッシュタグ B リーグオールスターを加えて投稿していただくという形です。例えば、渡辺裕太選手であればハッシュタグ MVP 渡辺、ハッシュタグ B リーグオールスター、富樫選手であればハッシュタグ MVP 富樫、ハッシュタグ B リーグオールスター、ハッシュタグ MVP 選手、そしてハッシュタグ B リーグオールスターということで、
So now the fans will vote for this. I think we heard the names of Yuki Togashi, Yutaro Suda, Watanabe, Hirotaki Yoshi. Well, I know, yeah, he's in there. So, question is, who do you go for, Anthony?
I think sentimental favorite goes to Yuki Togashi, the captain.
Of course, another outstanding success story now mentioned comes from the north of Japan, roughly 5 hours above Tokyo, in the city of Niigata, the city that's home to B3 team Niigata Albergs. But he went to the United States of America to play high school basketball in Washington, D.C. Didn't get a single offer from any NCAA Division I or II program. Then found himself playing in the G League. I believe it was for the Dallas Mavericks G League affiliate, and almost played professionally in Italy for Dinamo Sassari. But it goes to show you don't have to get that offer to make it.
まあでも楽しくできたんで、もうそれで十分です。はい。
篠山選手からはキャプテンは全然ディフェンスをしないともう記者会見で言われてましたけど、ディフェンスの方の手応えは。
いや結構今日頑張ったと思いますけどね。オフェンスチャージング取ったり、はい、結構いいディフェンス面の方がいい活躍できたと思ってます。はい。
会場の皆さん、富樫選手のディフェンスどうでしたか。渡辺選手からも力強い握手があります。この後発表ですので、ちょっと期待して待ちたいと思います。さあ、そして初出場の渡辺裕太選手、手応えのほどはどうでしょ
う。はい、いやもう楽しんでやれたかなと思います。
結構前日とか昨日とかも裏で会うとめちゃくちゃ緊張してますとおっしゃってましたけど、もうホームコートアドバンテージはものすごいあったと思うので、緊張は大丈夫でしたか、ゲーム始まってみたら。
いや今日はさすがにしなかったです。昨日はやばかったですけど。はい。
意外とね、大きい体でめっちゃ緊張されるんですよ、渡辺選手。はい。でもホームでもうね、大勢のジェッツファン来てますので、MVP に向けての吉井選手がねちょっとねカットインしてきましたが、ホームでねジェッツファンたくさんいますので、MVP に向けての意気込みお願いします。
はい、富樫勇樹に清き一票よろしくお願いします。
そういうこと言うと本当にめっちゃ入るんですよ。はい、ということで渡辺選手ですね、皆さん期待して待ちましょう。さあ、そして吉井選手、もう攻守に大活躍、ダンクもありましたし、ディフェンスも熱いディフェンスありましたが、やっぱり最初はディフェンスからっていう気持ちはあったんですか。
そうですね、まあ終始、僕がインテンシティを上げれたのかなと思います。
もうやっぱりこのジェッツ勢には負けないぞという、やっぱ秘めたる思いは、MVP に秘めたる思いはあったんですか。
まあ正直、そうですね、今回、ね、MVP で賞金欲しいですけど、全然いいんですよ、全然
出ちゃってる、い
や、マジで欲しいんですけど、マジでいいです、マジで。
隠すのが下手な子ですね、全部出ちゃってますよ。
はい、シャープのところのハッシュタグのところも富樫って書きたいところ、吉井って書いてもいいんですけど、今回はおちびさんにおちび大先輩にあげてもいいかなと。
A while ago, Watanabe's interview, he said he had a lot of fun today. He was nervous yesterday, but not today. And he said, everybody please vote for Yuki Togashi.
得点を須田選手です。どうですか MVP 今ぐっと来てますけど。
いやもうね手応えありありですけど。
On the other hand, Yoshii said he raised the intensity of this game and he said, I want the MVP prize, so vote for him.
スリーポイント 8分の5、62.5%。もうビッタビタでしたね。
レギュラーシーズンに入ってますね。
レギュラーシーズン以上。でも須田選手やっぱ入り出したら止まらないスリーポイントがね魅力ということですけど、ララーリのこのオールスターの雰囲気どうでした？
いやもう最高でしたね。本当に今までのこうオールスター何回か出させていただいてますけど、一番良かったです。最高です。ありがとうございます。
いややっぱ横にいる欲しがり男吉井選手と同じでジェッツ勢には MVP は渡さないですか？
そうですね。渡したくないですけど、まあ富樫勇樹に清き一票を。
いろいろ皆さん富樫選手の言葉がありましたが、この後間もなく MVP の発表でございますので、皆さん今しばらくお待ちください。
It's going to be really hard to choose, Josh, because, you know, Watanabe had 16 points, Togashi had 15, 14 for Yoshii, 21 for Suda. That's why he might have the greatest chance to be able to win. As Suda said, there were more three-pointers in the regular season. It was the most fun he's ever had at the All-Stars. And he could have even more fun if he takes home the MVP prize. Here we go. But fan favorite, long-time national member Yuki Togashi just might steal it from the rest.
My money's definitely still on Togashi.
It is Togashi. Who can beat him in a vote?
And that's it, Anthony. You have to remember, we're in his home. Most of these fans, no doubt, are probably Chiba Jets fans. We're in Funabashi, the prefecture of the Chiba Jets. So, and I agree with you. If it's down to a meritocracy, you probably go with Yutaro Suda. But you know, these fans, they live his name every week, and he is one of the most outstanding players in the history of professional basketball in Japan.
Well-deserved victory. Actually, if you chose any of the other three, it still would have been a good decision.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Sentimental
You know,
favorite.
good performance from Yuta Watanabe, as he mentioned. Nervous in the three-point contest, but great to see him come back. But like I said, a weekend, relaxation, have a bit of fun. But as we head back into the regular season, 30 games left, or what, 32 games left, it's going to be business as usual.
You know, Josh, Jeff Gibbs might have something to say as well. He said, look, if we're not just looking at points, I had 7 points, but I also had 12 rebounds and I had 8 assists. I could have been the MVP as well.
Yeah, triple-double numbers, absolutely, for sure. You're absolutely right, but it's one of those where I guess the points do matter, you know, because no one's really going to talk about the rebounds and the assists, but that takes nothing away from Jeff Gibbs. And like I say, when you're a fan favorite like Yuki Togashi, it more or less, it's inevitable, isn't it?
Oh, I think you and I knew he was going to get this one. As you can see, that huge prize money, double the MIP award.
Well, 1 million yen taking home. That is not a bad take home. I mean, if you want to put that into consideration of what he's taking home in US dollars, I think he's taking home about possibly $6,000 right there, Anthony.
Not
Maybe
bad
more,
for a day's
actually.
work. And I think he's going to have more accolades here.
Okay, if he's getting a free buffet, that's what I'm more jealous of.
Can we join him for dinner then?
I would be honored to. I would get on the next plane right tomorrow.
And I think more to come.
Well, this is the business of basketball. You got to remember, when you have millions of people watching, because full arenas all the time, many big corporations, business want to get their names here because the eyes are going to be on it. So no surprise to see the elite players taking home so many magnificent accolades. I'm seeing a lot of seafood here, Anthony. And
Yep, a
I'm
while
being full
ago
of
I
green
think
at the
was
moment.
a...
I'm very envious.
I think a while ago was a meat buffet. Now it's a seafood buffet. And as you said, all these brands are associated right now with the B.League. And all Japan is watching.
Well, there's the CEO of the B.League who's done a magnificent job continuing the excellence of this league. And I think now we're going to hear from the game's MVP, Yuki Tagashi.
MVP インタビューです。千葉ジェッツ富樫選手です。ありがとうございます。
熾烈な MVP 争い、選考の行方、どんな思いで見てましたか？
はい、船橋ということで僕が選ばれると思ってました。
このララアリーナ船橋で行われたオールスターでの MVP 考えひとしおではないかと思いますが、いかがでしょう？
そうですね、MVP というよりはやっぱりこのララアリーナとこの会場でこのオールスターをできたことも本当に幸せでしたし、これだけのファンの皆さんが2日間通して、駆けつけてくれた中、本当に昨日も含め、すごくいい試合と、いろんななんか楽しさの詰まった2日間だったなと思います。
篠山選手の入場もあり、いろいろありました今年のオールスターゲーム、振り返っていかがですか？
はい、僕もどこから来るか分かってなかったんですけど、まさかこの上から降りてくるとはもうさすがだなと思いますし、なんかちょっと MVP 取った後に山分けだって聞こえてたんですけど、数年前なんか MVP 取った時に何ももらってない記憶が僕があるので振り込んでもらってない気がするんですけどね。はい、まあちょっと、はい、まあでももちろんチームメイトのおかげなので、はい、何かしらしたいなと思います。
日本のバスケット界を長く支えてきたギブス選手もこのオールスター最後ということになりましたけれども、いかがですか？
はい、もう JF はもう日本に来てちょっともう何年かわからない、僕がプロになる前から多分日本でプレーしている選手なんですけど、まあほとんど僕と身長が変わらない中、本当にフィジカルでここまでね、もう44歳になりますけど、もうこれだけのプレーを見せてくれているので、もう本当にすごいなと思います。残りのシーズン本当に怪我なく、最後の、キャリアをね楽しんでほしいなと思います。ジェブありがとう。
いっぱいに埋めてくれた B リーグファンの皆さんに最後 MVP としてメッセージをお願いします。
はい、本当に2日間、たくさんの応援ありがとうございました。そしてたくさんの投票、ありがとうございました。はい、本当に楽しい2日間で、船橋開催できたこと、まあ本当に成功できたことすごく嬉しく思いますし、これからもっとね、もっともっと B リーグが盛り上がっていくことを願ってますし、一選手として、少しでも盛り上げられるように、はい、後半戦 B リーグも頑張っていきたいなと思います。2日間ありがとうございました。
おめでとうございました。
Well, a great interview here from Yuki Tagashi. First and foremost, he thanked the fans for all their support, and he said he did feel he was going to get chosen to be the MVP because he's a local here. It is a great venue to hold the All-Stars. It was fun-filled, he said. And he didn't expect Shirayama to come down from above. That was some of the highlights that we showed you earlier. And he also said that it's amazing that Jeff is still playing even at the age of 44, and he wants Jeff to be able to finish his career without getting injured. And he says he wants to be able to do his best to liven up the B-League even more in the future. Really, such a great ambassador for the league here, Josh.
Yeah, and you know, Yuki Tagashi's one of those players. You see the way he plays, and it's always interesting, where do players go in their post-career? I mean, he's now, what, 32 years old, turning 33, I think it is. I could definitely see him, the kind of personality and the way that he plays as a floor general, making a very good coach. Very much like a Jimmy Alapag kind of player.
それでは富樫選手より馬場選手へボールリレーです。
That's a nice shot. Togashi there with Baba.
Well, those two will have a very big summer ahead of them. Remember, we also have the final window of the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers coming up, but big time, of course, for Japanese basketball. And Anthony, as we mentioned with Gilas Pilipinas, they've got to compete for the Asia Cup championship.
馬場雄大です。改めて、はい、 ハピネスアリーナをはじめスタジアムシティが新しくできて日々長崎がどんどん盛り上がってきているのを感じているので皆さんもその熱量を直接肌で感じていただきたいなと思います。来年長崎で皆さん待っております。よろしくお願いします。
ありがとうございます。
So next year's All-Star will be held in Nagasaki. That was the official turnover there, Josh.
Yeah, it's going to be another great venue, another team with a magnificent arena. So we've had Okinawa, we've had now Funabashi, so looking very much forward to next year's B.League All-Star game.
Baba just said that he feels that Nagasaki is becoming more and more exciting every day. And he says he wants everybody to feel that passion.
ありがとうございました。楽しいこの2日間で、来年は長崎ということで、本当に僕もプレーさせていただいたんですが、素晴らしいアリーナなので、皆さんぜひ来年また僕に投票していただいて、はい、長崎でお会いしましょう。ありがとうございました。
Now some words about the turnover from Funabashi over to Nagasaki.
最後に恒例の合言葉で締めたいと思います。皆さん合言葉123 B リーグです。拳を高々と上げていただきます。本土取りは富樫選手。よろしくお願いします。
Togashi said, vote for me again next year when we see him in the next All-Star game. So next year, he's not going to be a local, Josh, but at the same time, he still wants the MVP nonetheless.
I'll be interested to see if both Matt Bonds plays in that game along with Yudai Baba, because Baba would be the local player, Bonds would be the former legend that they have, so maybe that could go in their favor.
And that will cap off proceedings here.
That's just a fun occasion, Anthony. You know, you see these players week in, week out, battling on the court for 40 minutes and doubleheaders on the weekends and another on Wednesday. Nice to see them all come together, and as we've seen with all the mascots that come onto the floor, as well as seeing all the fans, different jerseys represented, this is the true embodiment of B.League Japanese hoops.
It definitely is. Some more time for some pictures. A lot of the VIPs that are joining us here, because this is a huge weekend for Japanese basketball.
A nice little sending off now. You can see the Nagasaki Velka mascot with the Chiba Jets mascot, who's in this weekend, or in this arena every weekend. But a final picture, these players deserving the right to be voted for this All-Star game, and a big congratulations to them.
Wanted to make sure everybody fits into the picture. So this is their way of saying, we'll see you next year in Nagasaki for another All-Star edition.
It's also got to be very tough for the B-League, because you have so many magnificent venues and so many great towns and cities where you could host this event. So for sure, all the clubs hosting or putting in a bid to make sure they are the host, because not only do you bring in the great occasion, you bring in the business, you bring in the fans, and it's just so good for the town. So Nagasaki, a lot of anticipation. It's going to be a very exciting occasion next year.
Well, that's for sure. As you can see, the melting pot today, actually this entire weekend, has been Funabashi here in Chiba. That will change in 2026. So everybody heads on over to Nagasaki. Well, we tip our caps to everybody here at Funabashi. They did a great job here hosting everybody with the All-Star Game weekend for 2025.
Well, it just makes you wonder how quickly it's going to go from 0 to 100 when, you know, we do return for B-League action, because as mentioned, the unpredictability of this league And we saw that in the finals last year with Hiroshima Dragonflies, you know, having a win in that game 3 against Nagoya Diamond Dolphins. And, you know, they only just narrowly made it to the playoffs that year. Then taking game 2 and 3 against Naruku Golden Kings, defending champions. There's going to be a lot to fight for all the teams and players as we head back into action.
Oh, quite definitely. All the fun and games of the All-Star Weekend will come to a close here this Sunday. And disciplined basketball will be the order of play starting next weekend.
Well, there's a man, of course, disappointed not to retain his three-point championship. There's another player who did get off to a nervous start and wasn't quite, I think, what did he have, 11 or 12? Maybe a little, 14, I believe he had, possibly, but I actually can't remember the numbers he had, but, you know, that went to Makoto Hiyajima. But also, you know, you think about some of these players.
Hiyajima at 15, Josh.
That's what I'm saying. Hiyajima definitely, you know, he had to respond right away from being tested by Kishimoto, who tied that record up on the final money ball. But then they took it to a final round. But, Anthony, what I also love is you look at all these players, the Japanese players, the import players, there's so much top-level international talent. So you get to see some players who represent the countries, and the likes of Josh Hawkinson, he's a naturalized player. Sebasai is a FIBA Eurobasket champion. You know, this league really does bode well with the international calendar.
The players always appreciative of the fans. And the fans have embraced each and every player here in the B-League.
And that's something I try to stress with a lot of international fans that get into the B-League, because after every game, you have the home team who stands across the court. There's a speech to the crowd, whether they win or lose. And what I say to people that get into the B-League, this is very much a tradition of Japanese culture, because that builds the bond and a more humanistic relationship between the players and the fans. And that is the #1 embodiment that makes it such a family, fun environment.
And you and I are just so thankful to be a part of this league as it grows and it looks further to even greater heights, as we have here the veteran Jeff Gibbs. Well, we're just so glad each and every one of you joined us. Josh, any final words here about All-Star Weekend for 2025?
I think the B-League has done a magnificent job, and I sound like a broken record when I keep saying this, but, you know, just an unbelievable event that, again, has just showcased the, you know, the jam-packed arena, the millions, of course, watching it in Japan, and, of course, those watching internationally. Nagasaki, looking forward to it. I did say this last year when we covered this game remotely when it was in Okinawa. Maybe, just maybe, Anthony, we might get invited and we might get to enjoy some of the local sashimi.
That is what I'm hoping for. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here for All-Star Weekend. Till next week, have a great week ahead, everybody. God bless.
後半戦へと臨みます。また皆様と全国各地の決戦の舞台でお会いできますことを願っております。 B1 は今週の木曜日1月23日から実施してまいります。仕事帰りにもぜひ会場へ足をお運びください。なお B2 は1月24日金曜日から実施してまいります。 B1 昇格をかけた後半戦、熱い試合に注目です。今回はファンターワールドとテーマを掲げてお送りしたオールスターでしたが、この先も選手、スタッフ、ファンと共に心たぎる世界を作ってまいります。 B リーグの挑戦はまだまだ続きます。なお近隣のご迷惑になるためお帰りの際には規制退場を行っております。スタッフの問題があれば 各位選手のご家族も大喜びです。また始まりました。やっぱりボディが大好きなんだ。お待たせいたしました。エリアにご利用のお客様をご退場いただきます。ご協力誠にありがとうございます。エリア1、エリア2、ご利用の皆様、ご退場いただきます。お待たせしております。その上の時にご確認